All right, what's going on, everyone? Aaron here, Clean Cuts Lawn Care. It is Tuesday morning. Me and Robbie are out here on the route. So, in past videos, the last two, I told you guys I was having some truck trouble with truck number 51. I originally thought something was wrong with the transmission because when it happened on the freeway, I was not able to get it into the next gear. The next day, I took it for a test drive on some side streets, and it did it again. And when it did it, I really felt like it wasn't the transmission, but it was more of an electrical issue. So I did take it to a mechanic, I told you guys, and it did not do it on the way there. The mechanic used almost a quarter tank of fuel driving it around. It would not do it. So they had it hooked up to their testers and everything. They found a code. It was not shown on the dash with a check engine light. It was a historical code, meaning it had been saved in the system who knows how long ago. And what it was a camshaft sensor code. So here's the backstory. About a year ago, if you guys remember, I had a leak in the rear main seal of this truck. When I had it looked at, again, rear main seal, not something I'm gonna replace. They found that the camshaft had a little bit of play in it when it's not supposed to have play in it. They feel that's what caused that leak, and they told me don't even get it replaced because in the end it could do it again. I ended up using Blue Devil rear main seal additive, and it worked. If there is a leak, it's a very, very slight, unnoticeable leak left, you know. So they feel, first they said camshaft sensor and crankshaft sensor, but the truck starts right up, it has no problem idling. So they were able to kind of say, you know, no, not crankshaft, mainly camshaft sensor. They think what is happening is because of that play on the camshaft, that it's moving up a little bit too far and maybe even hitting the sensor, or going backwards a little too far and the sensor is not able to pick it up on that read, and it throws the truck into, you know, panic mode. So right now it's not doing it, and what they told me is they didn't replace it yet because, again, it won't do it now. It didn't do it for them, it's not doing it for us. They said it can happen again today, it can happen again in a year from now, or it may never happen again. So in the event that it happens again, we're gonna run it up there immediately, and they're gonna do a quick scan on it and see what the code is reading at that time. If they are able to absolutely confirm, then I will have them do it. The camshaft sensor, maybe even the crankshaft sensor too, just because why not? The only reason I wouldn't do the sensor myself is because my scan tool does not have a relearning program on it. Oh, I don't know if I told you about that.
What? So
my scan tool I have over here,
yeah,
because it's a cheap one, when you put in either a camshaft sensor or a crankshaft sensor, you can't just re-put it in. You have to do, you have to like reprogram it. It's called relearning. Well, my scan tool will not do it. No, it's a cheap one. It's a good one. I mean, as far as it finds every code. Yeah, once you fix something, you can erase the code. So, but it will not do a reprogram or relearn. So, because of that, and only because of that, in the event that it does need replaced, I will have them do the sensor. So they'll also have to check the wiring as well, because it could be the wiring from, you know, in between the sensor and the ECU. But it's one of those things, they're quite certain. So I'm just happy it's not the transmission. So I actually have a little bit of bad news. This weekend, a family member of ours was visiting a friend of hers, and this friend got a Cane Corso dog like 3 months ago, a fully grown one. I don't know if anyone knows, but Cane Corsos were actually bred back like in Roman times to use for war. Their ancestors are a bigger breed of that, and then they're a smaller breed. That way they're better in war because they were lighter and could run faster, but had the same power. So our relative goes outside to have a cigarette in the backyard. Her friend allows the dog to go out into the backyard with our relative, and when the dog got out there, he started staring at our relative and walking in a circle around her, and she knew she was in trouble, and it was too late. The dog attacked her, and man, it's rough. He pretty much bit her arm in half. He broke her arm, pretty much bit the arm in half. She was crawling into the house, and the dog ended up biting her back and was doing that. The owner, her friend, came outside and tried getting the dog off of her, and the dog attacked the owner, and the owner took off. So our relative got like halfway in the door, and by that time he had her arm again, so she couldn't shut the door on him. And there was some type of curtain hanging by this door, and he started like coming up near her face, and she pulled the curtain over her face, and he left her face alone but kept on the arm. And I mean, and that dog was gonna kill her 100%. I don't know exactly how it stopped, how it ended. The dog went crazy. He had one mission, and that was to kill her. And they took the dog, but we're kind of confused because they're saying that they're actually giving the dog back to the owner, but they have to have the dog put down. Why wouldn't you just put it down now? You have it. Who's to say they're really going to put the dog down? Yeah. Right? Doesn't make any sense. So, and at the hospital, you know, I understand there was a opiate epidemic and it went on. This person has never been a drug user, has never been to the hospital trying to get pain pills, has never had drug-seeking behavior. Her arm is like dangling, cut in half from a dog attack. They gave her 5 pain pills to take home. She went back to the hospital. They would not give her more. Today, they ended up giving her 10 days worth, and she had to beg and plead with them that she couldn't sleep, she's in terrible pain, and they did not want to give her more. That's unreal to me. Like I said, I understand what happened in this country with the opiate epidemic, but you can't use that with everyone. I mean, the person's arm is chopped in half. Yeah. Right?
Yeah, wait till they see it.
Yeah, I mean, Robbie's seen it. It's
disgusting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's unreal.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you think that dog was going to try to kill her, right?
100%. From at least from the picture that I saw, I don't know how it ended up getting settled and whatnot, but
me either. I mean to ask that because the owner tried stopping it and he just fucked her up too.
No, he had it what, like 2 months?
3 months.
3 months.
And it's full grown. It's a full grown Cane Corso.
I don't know. Wish I could tell you. But
so they did give her like another 10-day supply, but she had, like I said, she had to beg for it. It's unreal, man. Unreal. it is getting hot. It's gonna be in the 90s all week again. We're having weeks right now where it gets real cool, 60s, low 70s. Then we're getting the weeks where we're still getting into the 90s. You know, so fall's coming, you know. We probably have a good 7 weeks of mowing, I'm assuming. You know, and then it'll start dying down, and then we'll get into fall cleanups, and after that we'll get into snow removal. So if you guys remember, you know, we started the business using a 2009 Kia Optima, and when we bought the Toro Time Master, I went to Harbor Freight and I bought a cargo carrier. You know, a cargo carrier hooks into the hitch, comes out, and then you have like a, I think ours was maybe like 3 feet by 4 feet or something. And then it has a ramp that you can lower. It's mainly for like wheelchairs, motorized wheelchairs. But we had originally bought it to haul the Time Master in, and the Time Master really didn't fit the way it was supposed to in it. Plus it was too heavy because it was hooked up to the car. It was dropping down to the ground. Even with running straps into the trunk, it was still too heavy. And that's why we bought our first trailer that same week. However, that first winter, I did use that cargo carrier to haul the snowblower, and it worked pretty good. I still had to run straps into the trunk and crank it down in order to keep it up, but I did use it for that whole first winter. So I am considering buying another one, a better one than I had, for this coming winter. Obviously it'll be on a truck, so it'll be higher. I won't have to worry about it, you know, dipping down. And also they sell these like hitch tighteners for if you have something in your hitch that's moving around, you can tighten it. So yeah, I am thinking about doing that, even if I have to buy a riser to keep it higher. Basically this door, you can see, right, this door is gone. Where it hooks up to the pins in here, you can see down there, you know, where the pins hook up and then go in here, they're rusted out and broke on both sides. So when you open this door, yes, it still opens and it will sit flat because it's hooked up by the cables. But when you close it, you have to, like, it's real difficult. You have to hold both corners in at the same time, pick up on it and push, and then get it perfectly. Sometimes you'll miss. And then on top of that, now the hooks are not grabbing all the way, so you have to have these bungees. On top of that, the my ramps are 2x8s with the you know, the it sits right here, right? It has the metal part, sits right here. So those 2x8s, man, they're heavy. Okay, you're talking all day long. I normally keep 30 to 35, 36 snow removal customers, so that's 35, 36 houses. I'm opening this, pulling those ramps out, setting it up, driving down the ramps, driving up the ramps, putting the ramps back, closing the door. I don't think that's going to work again this year. So that's why I'm thinking about getting another cargo carrier with the ramp on the side and just using the cargo carrier. So that's the idea. Well, we pretty much caught up.
Yeah. Skipped one.
Well, we skipped one, yeah, because we couldn't get down the road because of construction. The customer will still be charged for it, but yeah, we couldn't get down the damn road. But yeah, we're pretty, you want a water?
Yeah.
We're pretty much caught up though. We have one more to do. We actually supposed to have 2 more to do, but the second customer where we're going on the same street ended service. He said he's having some issues, money issues, which is fine. I get it. I'm an average Joe myself, and but he wasn't real clear if it was supposed to end after last week or this week. He hasn't responded to me, and if he doesn't respond to me by the time we get there, then we're, you know, obviously we're not going to mow it. So we'll see. Locked up here for the day. Everything else will get locked up at the shop. We found this, it's not ours. I'll just throw it in that bag there. All right, so the day is over. I'm getting ready to head home right now. Well, I am heading home right now. So a little bit more on our relative who was attacked by a dog and the whole situation with the doctors and everything. Like I said, me and Vicky have both been clean for going on 7 years, both from opiate addiction, and it was to do with pain pills. Okay, so like I said, I do understand the situation that these doctors are in, but I don't understand this situation. I mean, it doesn't make any sense to me at all, really. So you have some people who are or doctors who are very cautious of this thing, and then let me tell you a story about some that are not. Since we've been clean, Vicky's had to have a couple different surgeries and oral surgeries as well, and could not use any opiates. I've had some oral surgeries since being clean, could not use any opiates. One of her last actual surgeries, we met with the surgeon 2 or 3 different times. You know, we talked every single time about the fact that Vicky could not be injected with any opiates before, during, or after the surgery. That was like our top thing that we were concerned about. And you know, the surgeon kept telling us, you have nothing to worry about. Everything, as long as she's tough enough to heal without opiates, she's not going to get any opiates. And we knew she was tough enough to do it, and that was fine. The day of her surgery, I'm waiting right next to the bed that they're going to use to wheel her out. She's laying in the bed, she's falling asleep. They were just about to come and take her for surgery, and I said, okay, I'm going to go out in the waiting room, and I kissed her and, you know, hugged her, told her, you know, everything's going to be fine. Just as I walk out of the little room, I go, no, I'm not going to leave. I'm going to wait until they actually wheel her out. I don't know why. I just didn't feel right about it. As I come back into the room, like a doctor is coming in, I think she was a doctor. I don't really, she wasn't the surgeon, but, and when she came in, she had a little cart with her, and on the cart, it had some needles and stuff like that. And she goes over to Vicky's IV and she picks up a needle. And I go, excuse me, miss. I said, what's in that syringe? And she said, well, this is Dilaudid, which I don't know if you guys know. You might not know. I hope you don't know. It's a very, very strong opiate, okay? It's a very strong painkiller. Stronger than, say, Percocet, Vicodin, OxyContin. It's stronger than those things. And she was about to put it in Vicky's IV. And I go, no, 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 stop. I said, do not, that's not, I walked over there. I said, she is not to have any opiates before, during, after surgery. She goes, no, no, she does get it before surgery. She needs it. I said, she's not getting it. So instead of her like going and talk to the surgeon, she gets loud with me, tells me to get out of her way or she will have me removed from the hospital. And I said, well, having me removed is your only option. I said, you're not putting that in her IV. I said, you need to go get the surgeon now. So we're like kind of in each other's face. I'll tell you right now, if she would have tried to walk around me, it was going to be bad. So she ended up calling for security and the surgeon, and then she walked out. And a couple seconds later, I heard the surgeon ask what was going on, and then I hear this lady explain to her how she was trying to give Vicky her Dilaudid injection. And as soon as she said it, I hear the surgeon, you did what? What did you do? And she goes, no, I didn't actually give it to her. The husband, I had to call security because he's telling me no. And I hear the surgeon screaming, that's the patient we've had all the meetings about. How many times have I told you she's not to have any opiates, that she's in recovery? You know, and she's screaming at her. And she's like, do you even understand what you almost just did to her? And this woman's acting like she has no clue the significance behind the mistake she almost made. So that's why I say I understand half of it, you know, but in this family member's case, there's no reason for them to not give her pain medication. You know, she's not a drug addict, never's been a drug addict. Her arm is ripped in half. Her other parts of her body are bitten and chewed up. So it kind of, you know, it just makes me mad a little bit. But anyway, the truck's running fine. It's not, so far it has not repeated that process. Again, they told me it might do it today, it might do it in a year, it might not never do it again. We just don't know. So me, I'm hoping for the latter, right? Just don't ever do it again. I know that the camshaft has a little bit of play in it. Obviously, when it starts doing that, the sensor's not picking up on the movement, and that's what happened. So hopefully it just doesn't happen anymore. Worst case scenario, I haven't put the sensor in. The new sensor, the updated version, actually has a spacer for the sensor. So if it has to be replaced, maybe that spacer will help, you know, who knows. So, all right guys, if you liked the video, hit like, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment down below. Let me know everything I'm doing wrong, and keep the edges clean, boys. I'm out.